welcome back to Gay by Gay.
Hi.
Hi. How's your day going, Abby?
I mean, it snowed on and off like 6 times.
I know.
In the 30 minutes that it took to get me from my mom's house to the recording space here, which is, 20 blocks?
Yeah.
It snowed on and off like 3 times, so.
It is wispy out there.
Yeah, that's a description.
Wispy?
Wispy. I like your sound effects. Topic for today. Mommy issues. Oh, this is an interesting topic. I think everybody knows about daddy issues, especially when it comes to girls looking for love in all of the wrong places. But what happens when you have mommy issues? I feel like normally when you have mommy issues, you turn into Norman Bates. Like,
yeah,
Psycho. Stab someone in the shower. You know what I mean? Or you turn into Jason Voorhees and, like, come back for the 13th time for the 13th reboot.
I have no idea who that is.
I
don't do a pulp culture.
You uncultured swine.
I am
pulp culture. Pulp culture. It's pop culture. Pulp fiction.
Yeah.
Pulp fiction is pop culture.
I don't know what that is either.
You know what? I don't think we can be friends anymore.
Okay.
Why are you just okay with that? Then again, I feel like half of this podcast is just you putting up with me ranting and just, like, slowly nodding at me, like, can this bitch shut up?
I'm also dumb. Like, the worms in my brain just, like, do little jigs once in a while.
Do they have tap shoes?
Yeah.
They have tap shoes.
You know? Okay, my mom.
What do they river dance? What was that humming?
Yeah, they probably do.
They just
in one line.
They just river dance in one line. Lord of the Worm Step. Love it. Yes. It's the newest dance craze.
Whenever I zone out, it's just my eyeballs, like, flipping to the back of my head watching the
You just watch their performance. Yeah. You're like, God, love the third one in the line there. Just, mwah, perfect. Anyways, now that we're 2 minutes into an episode about mommy issues and we're talking about the worms tap dancing in your brain, let's get on topic, please.
Okay.
Mommy issues. What does that actually mean to have mommy issues?
I mean, I think really anything that goes wrong with your mother. What? Like anything that goes wrong with your mom. Like,
I don't know why. The reason I didn't say anything is because my brain went, you mean like when they have like a stroke or something? And I was like,
yes, kind of.
I don't, no.
It's kind of in my case.
I think you mean more like emotional problems, not like physical problems.
Well, yeah, but those physical problems can cause mommy issues too because it causes your mother not to be like there for you as much.
Oh, okay. I guess I see what you're... I don't know why. I don't know what's happening. My brain is, like, in all kinds of galaxies today. It's out of the Milky Way. It's just... It's out there.
Every way.
Every way.
What are other galaxies called? We'll look it up. That's okay.
I'm sure they do have names, but it's probably something very scientific, like 6.41 gigabytes. That's not right.
Like Elon Musk's and Grimes' kid's name.
Yeah. Probably Blue Ivory out there.
Yeah.
Blue Ivory.
I can't with you. But yeah.
Okay, now that we're 3.5 minutes into an episode, can we actually talk about mommy issues?
Yes, my mommy issues. So my mother was pretty good. She was pretty good until I turned like 10. And then she got pretty sick and started having seizures and we didn't know why.
I mean, even to this day, I don't think you ever got like a firm diagnosis as to what was going on.
First, they thought it was somehow late onset epilepsy. And then they realized you're definitely not epileptic. And now it's kind of the assumption that it was stress-induced, that she was just under so much stress from her job and stuff. Because, like, at the end of it, she would drive my dad to work 6:30 in the morning, come home, get us ready for school, take us to school, head straight to work from, like, 10 till 3, pick us up 3:30, pick my dad up at 4, come home, eat dinner, make dinner, and go back to work like 5 to 11. So
yeah,
it was like a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah. And that was like 5 days a week for however long, like years.
And even on weekends, you have to think as a mom, you're taking care of your young kids at that point.
Laundry
she had 2,
and
right?
Food and...
Yep, making sure that all the housework gets done and everything else. So I think it's just... It's a lot. And I'll be really honest, when it comes to talking about mommy issues, I very much get this sense that a lot of mommy issues kind of stem from moms almost overdoing their schedule. Do you know what I mean? Like, there are so many moms out there that are under so much stress. And anytime a child, for the most part, feels like they've been neglected by their mom, it's probably because their mom is busy trying to be Wonder Woman, working a full-time job, doing so much of the housework and everything else, taking care of the husband, taking care of the kids. Like, I don't know why there's such an insane precedence on women and mothers in general to be, like, borderline perfect. Like, superhero perfect. Yeah. Where it's like, oh, you can't do it all. What's wrong with you? You can't juggle a full-time career and being a mom? What's wrong?
Too realistically, my dad was not help.
I mean, to be fair, we've already discussed daddy issues several times. Your dad's always been a bit of a troll. Help. So, to be fair, a lot of the work was falling on your mom.
So she started having her seizure. She spent in excuse me.
This is what you get for drinking all that stupid sparkling water.
My buble.
You're stupid. Stupid pineapple buble that doesn't taste like pineapples and tastes like
death.
A diabetic fever dream of what pineapple is supposed to taste like. I hate it.
But she had spent a month in the hospital straight. After her first one, came home. She actually had to have a PICC line to her heart directly at one point for some type of medication she was on. And
I think that's kind of the really scary thing is that even at the time, and even now, they don't really know what the cause was. Yeah. And so they were pumping her full of all these medications. And, I mean, from your perspective, you were young at the time. I'll bet you even now you probably don't know half the things that she was being pumped full of. Oh, no. She probably didn't even know what she was being pumped full of, we don't know what the problem is. We're just going to, throw everything at the wall, see what sticks.
I know there was this one really damaging medication where it's for extreme epilepsy, but my mom doesn't have epilepsy, and she was on it for over a year, and she's like, this medication's really effing me up, guys, and they were like, oh, but you can't not take it.
Well, I think the trouble was they didn't know what was going on, so it's better to be overly cautious.
Yeah, but that was really scary, and for some point I felt like I had lost my mom for that kind of 2-year span while she was recovering, and then had another one, and then I think had a third one. So there was, like, that where she was, like, in and out of the hospital for a little while. And, like, at that point, my sister was kind of taking care of me because I was, like, still pre-pubescent, just starting puberty, 11, 12-ish.
This was, like, right around the time that you had started dancing with me.
Yeah. I was, like, 11, 12-ish. And my sister was taking care of me a little bit. My dad didn't. My dad was visiting my mom at the hospital and bringing us pizza and McDonald's, basically.
I mean, when you're a troll that lives in the basement and you don't know how to care for yourself, let alone children, what else do you do?
Yeah, but I started to walk to school with a couple of friends.
You started becoming a lot more independent at that point because you kind of had to be more independent at that point. Your mom went from being there to not being there. And I think the thing that scared me the most, I remember one day you and I had a conversation about your mom, and you delivered the line, Abby, I wish you could have seen my mom before she got sick. She was completely different. Yeah. And we had this entire conversation where, to some extent, yes, your mom is still there, but is she still your mom? Do you know what I mean?
She is my mom. Well, now I can say that. She is my mom, but she's not the same mom I had when I was a kid. Because
that's even scarier to deal with than losing a parent to some extent.
It was really hard for a while, but once me and my mom started getting close again, it's like, oh yeah, this is my mom. It may be different now, but just sitting there kind of feeling sorry about who she used to be is not going to improve my relationship with her now. And this is the mom I'm going to have for the rest of my life.
And again, I think this is the hard part, is that when you lose a parent, you grieve, and then eventually you do start to try and pick up the pieces and move on. Or at least that's what I did when my dad passed. I can't even imagine how hard it would be to sit there, acknowledge that, yes, they're still physically there, but mentally they are completely different. Like, they are not the same person they used to. It's like literally having some sort of changeling or doppelganger take over, and you're just like, how do you come to terms with that? That's a lot to deal with. And you were young.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot to deal with.
I think especially with time helped a lot, as honestly, as what she used to be seems more like childhood nostalgia now, and I accept that when I was a child, things were a lot more brighter and sunny because I was a kid.
I mean, there could be something to that, too, just because whenever you look at things through the lens of childhood, everything's, rose-colored glasses, right? You see everything as being a lot better, whereas reality, maybe you would have seen it a little differently if you had been older.
So now it's just a lot easier to accept that, like, this is my mom now. And she's gotten a little better. At the beginning, she used to be really bad at, like, emotional regulation and boundaries. But now she's getting a little bit better.
I think after having an unknown seizure disorder, I might be a little bit bad at emotions, too. Emotional regulation. Honey, I don't have a seizure disorder, and I'm still really bad at emotional regulation. Have you met me?
But, yeah, she's gotten a lot better, and we love her. She is a good mom and a good person, all things considered. So
when we come back, I want to kind of dive a little bit more into what your relationship with your mom is like now and kind of the stresses and strains that you face having an adult relationship with your mom. Because let's be real here, your relationship with your parents is very different when you're young versus when you're older. We'll be back to talk about that. And we're back.
Hello.
Okay, so, you and your mom have been through some ups and downs over the years.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about mommy issues, I feel like, again, daddy issues are a lot easier to identify. I feel like people don't normally talk about mommy issues quite as much.
I think that mommy issues are more, like, nuanced.
Weirdly enough, yeah.
Like, they're always more, like, deep-seated. Like, my daddy issues, they're, like, on a poster on the wall. They're on the surface. My mommy issues are, like...
Yeah, your daddy issues, like, the poster on the wall just reads looking for love in all of the wrong places.
And then, like, my mommy issues are, like, the structural integrity of the house.
Yeah.
Really deep-seated. Gotta get someone in to work on that.
Yeah. So, when it comes to your issues with your mom, I think one of the biggest things that comes to my mind, at least, boundaries.
Yeah.
That is probably one of the biggest struggles that you have fought over the years with your mom, all the way from when you were younger, going through that stage of trying to become more independent to where you are now. How do you feel about how things went in your fight to get some boundaries?
I think that at the beginning it was really, really difficult because I was, like, still a teenager, but she didn't get to see me become a teenager. And so I know that sometimes she feels bad because she feels like she missed out on, like, that important portion of my life.
She was going through so much herself. Yeah. You were kind of growing up, like, you were growing up with her there, but it's almost like she was kind of unaware of you growing up.
Yeah, well, it's not like she left, but when she got sick, I was still, you would look at me and say I was a kid, and when she came back, I was a young adult.
Yeah.
So
it was during a very fundamental time.
Yeah. And boundaries then were hard for her to grasp. They were not something...
My dude, I love your mom. I would say that boundaries are still hard for her to grasp.
Yeah.
But then again, what mother can you say that?
Yeah, true.
Like, I think every mother is bad at boundaries. Yeah. I'm your mother.
Yeah, of course. But, like, the boundaries I had with other people and the freedom I had with my sister and my dad, like, when I was, like, 13, I'm allowed to go to the park by myself. I go on walks with friends. I go on bike rides, stuff like that.
Basic independence of a young teen to young adult.
But my mom came back and she was like, but I'm worried about this and I'm worried about that, and what if you get hurt, and what about
this? I mean, to be fair, even to this day, you still look like a 12-year-old, and sometimes I get worried about someone kidnapping you and trying to sell you on the black market, and I'm like, oh, honey, you think she's jailbait? Nah, no. You got this backwards.
Yeah.
She looks young, but she old.
And have her, like, my mom be really worried and stuff. But, like, and we had a couple of fights then where it was like, I've been allowed to do this for, like, months. And I think I was a really hormonal teenager, so I was like, just step off. I can do this. Like,
Did you call it hormonic?
Hormonal.
I thought you said harmonic.
Harmonic?
That's why I got confused, and I was like, did she
Harmonica?
just... I was like, did she just mix words again?
I'm a harmonica teenager.
Are you remixing the English language over there? You're like a DJ, you just remix the language.
I take the dictionary, I cut it into pieces, and I smudge it together.
You just, like, put different pages together, and you're like, look, I made a new word.
Yep, I would do that.
Pretty sure that's what the Webster's Dictionary is.
But, yeah, so that was hard at first, and then as I kept doing the stuff I was doing, she eventually realized, okay, you're not going to come back dead every time. It's going to be fine.
Every time?
Every time.
You mean occasionally you did come back dead? Just once in a while you came back dead. But it was only on, like, a blue moon occasion. Yeah. It's fine. The rest of the time, it was all good.
Yeah.
Naturally.
And then as I started growing up, you know, I think that I kind of weaponized my independence a little bit. If she made me mad, I wouldn't let her do stuff for me. I wouldn't let her take me anywhere. I would insist on doing it on my own. And she gets stressed out by that.
I mean, to be fair, I think part of the problem you were seeing is that you wanted more independence. But the problem was she was maybe a little overbearing. Yeah. I can remember the fight you went through to even, like, she would not let you cook for how long?
Oh, yeah.
Because she didn't trust you in the kitchen.
Yeah.
You are, even now, just learning how to make very basic things because for the longest time, she was stressed out the day you decided to try and make macaroni at age, 18?
No. Just like 9. Not like 9, but like probably like 13.
My dude, you had that argument like a year and a half ago.
No.
When you dropped the macaroni on the floor?
No way. That was when I was like 13. That was so many years ago.
Sure?
Yes. I would remember if it was a year ago.
Okay, maybe I'm delusional then.
I was youngish. But yeah, I mean, I think for her, how she shows her love is doing stuff for other people. And, like, her way of being like, please stay in my life is doing stuff for others. Like, she'll take my sister to work and stuff like that, and that's what she likes doing.
It's her way of staying involved.
Yeah, it is.
She's one of those people that needs to be needed.
Yeah.
So
and for
she uses that.
a really long time, a lot of our fights would spring up because she would be wanting to do stuff for me, but I would have her at, like, the longest arm's length because I was like, you're not my mom anymore. I don't need you. Whatever. I haven't needed you for so long. You just relax and stay in bed or something. Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, growing up has been kind of easier now, but harder at times because I get a little bit angry sometimes, but I'm good at controlling it. And she'll have, like, a hard-on stance on something. Like, her favorite thing to say is I'll walk in and I'll be like, Mom, I'm an adult. I can do this. I can go swing on the swings at 8:30 at night without getting murdered. It's not even dark yet, Mom. And she'll be like, you live in my house and you're not an adult and stuff like that.
I was going to say that is probably one of the biggest things between you guys is you continually trying to remind your mom that you're actually an adult. Yeah. Well, as long as you live under my house, you live under my rules. And it's like, how do you find independence while still being at home like that?
I get independence from just doing it.
You're just like, screw it, I'm going to go do it.
Oh, of course. Like, hey, I called my mom once and I'm like, hey, I'm going to like 7-Eleven. And it was probably like 8:30 at night again. And it's kind of dim, and we don't live in a good part of the town.
I mean, they did, just a little while ago, they did find a body in a recycling bin in the general area. Yeah. We're not even going to talk, this is not a true crime podcast, but that was a true crime that actually happened here in Gotham City,
And my mom was out, so I call her up, and I go, oh, is there anything you want from 7-Eleven? I'll grab it for you. And she goes, you can't go to 7-Eleven at this time.
I'm pretty sure that's the reaction my mom would have, too.
And I said, it's not that dark. It's like 5 minutes of a walk away. I'm gonna be fine. She's like, you can't do that. And I hung up. And then I texted her, do you want anything? She answers, no. And then I go to 7-Eleven, I come home. And then my mom comes back from wherever she was out. And I'm holding a Slurpee in my hand. She goes, you went, didn't you? I'm like, yeah.
But that's when you sit there and go, no, I didn't. I just pulled this out of somewhere.
But I mean, she doesn't complain that far. I think she just, like, gets consumed with worry sometimes, and that's when she wants to try to control things she can't control come in. Like, I'm going to say, like, I'm a completely capable human being.
Are you
not
sure?
in the language. Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
Your English skills would tell me otherwise.
I mean, capability is not equal to English.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
I think in your case it's a pretty good indicator.
Other people have native languages. You can't say you're not capable because you don't speak English.
No, I just think you're incapable in general. I mean, speaking or otherwise.
I've traveled internationally. I'm starting to drive.
This is true.
Like, I'm a capable human being mostly when people don't give me reason to worry. If I don't have a lot of influence on what I can be worried about, I normally won't be that worried.
It's only when people kind of implant the idea, oh, aren't you concerned about that? And you're like, should I be concerned about that?
When my mom goes, you're going to get murdered. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm going to do it. And then I walk in and I like looking behind my shoulder everywhere I go.
Now you're more paranoid because someone's like implanted the idea subconsciously and you're like, oh,
she
no.
She is getting a lot better with boundaries because me and my sister do work together to...
You do actually kind of tag team a little bit.
To help her understand these concepts because it just takes her a while to get it.
Your mom is one of those very forward people where there is no such thing as being off limits when it comes to her kids. Do you know what I mean? Like she's one of those people to go, I changed your diapers, I know everything about you, so I can walk in on you as an adult. You have nothing that I haven't seen before, but meanwhile you're sitting there going, Mom, get out.
I'm fine with that. I walk around the house naked.
Yeah.
But
we don't talk about you and your nudist colony fantasies.
She's lived a long life full of not many boundaries. And she comes from a background where her home life wasn't that good, and she finally has kids who are fully grown, and she wants to stay involved, but it's her first time staying involved in adult children's lives.
I mean, there is no manual to how to raise children, especially as you get older, because the relationship you have and you build with your kids from the time that they're a baby, to see them turn into another human being that doesn't need you as much anymore, that's a huge transition.
I know one thing we worked on her for a while is you can't touch me whenever you want to. You can't come up to me and poke me if I don't want you to.
She still struggles
with
that,
I have a right to be angry at you if you do that.
Yep.
So we talked to her about that, and
And you know, I think the other major thing that you struggled with for a while, and I want to know if this has actually gotten any better. You are one of those people. You grew up dancing with me from the time you were fairly young. You have always been an extreme stickler for etiquette in a theater.
Yeah.
You used to hate it. Your mom is a little bit more rough and tumble, if you will. She used to absolutely kind of speak loudly, cheer loudly, and all that. It used to drive you up the wall. Has she gotten any better, or have you just learned to handle it knowing that that's just her way? How have you guys come to an agreement on that? Oh no, that face.
At things like dance competitions, I don't mind her shouting as long as she knows to use the right words. As in, go your name, or, and not, that's my baby.
Oh, I love your mom. Oh,
and she's amazing.
That's my baby,
I love her.
Up there. Yep, that's your mom.
I've had talks with her about it before, and honestly, looking back, I could have been a little bit more gentle about it. But I really just think that she has the best intentions. She doesn't do it to be embarrassing. She doesn't do it so I get mad at her. She has the best intentions.
She does.
And now that I'm older...
So that may have been a little bit of a mix of she was maybe going a little overboard, but you were also maybe a little overreacting.
Oh, yeah.
So you've kind of come to more of a consensus on that where she's toned it down a little bit, but you're also kind of like, this is who she is.
Yeah, and now that I'm adult, I don't have to go with her everywhere. If there's somewhere she's going to go that I don't think she's going to behave appropriately, I don't have to be there. That's just it.
Just full on removing yourself from the situation.
Yeah, if that's
smart. Yeah, smart.
I have to be. I have to pick my battles.
That's fair. I mean, there are enough battles to pick. But let us know. Contact us on all of our social media. Let us know. Do you have mommy issues? What does that even entail for you? I mean, as we said before, daddy issues are clearly telegraphed. Mommy issues sit a lot deeper. So we'd love to get some feedback on this. But until then, that's all for this episode. Thank you so much for listening.
Take it gay by gay, guys.
Bye.